I was sitting in the front office, watching a janitor haul away the last of the old science lab equipment, when I realized how far we'd come, and how fast it was all slipping. My name's Diane Keller. I'm 47 years old, and I've worked at Mayfair High in Columbus, Ohio for almost 10 years now. I came in when the place was drowning, underfunded, low test scores, about to get shut down by the district. Half the lights in the East Wing didn't even turn on back then. Teachers brought in their own copy paper. There were rumors about charter takeovers every other week. I put everything I had into saving that school. Time, relationships, my reputation. And 5 years ago, after my mother passed, I did something nobody but my lawyer knows about. I took her inheritance and set up a nonprofit trust. Then that trust quietly bought out the school's debts and restructured the liabilities under a new management shell. On paper, Mayfair survived through community partnership. In reality, I owned a silent controlling share, just not in name. And I never told a soul. I didn't do it for power. I did it so nobody could gut the place again. So the students, mostly working class kids from around the East Side, could actually believe their school wouldn't disappear overnight. Then came Darren Hart, 35, maybe younger, designer suit, Italian shoes, Ivy League resume. He strolled in like he'd been personally assigned by Silicon Valley to disrupt public education. The first time we met, he called the library a low-efficiency data zone. I thought he was joking. He wasn't. Quick note, before listening, share which city or country you're watching from. Within 2 weeks, he slashed the vocational program and pitched virtual modules as replacements. He got rid of the school garden, said it wasn't scalable. He kept quoting startup jargon like he was running a damn tech incubator instead of a high school. And he never asked for anyone's input. Not once. Staff meetings turned into slideshow pitches about agility and leaner models. He let go of 2 senior teachers. Both had been there longer than me. Said they didn't align with the vision. I stayed quiet. Most people know me as head of community programs, family outreach, student mentorship, local partnerships. I've always worked behind the scenes. People forget I'm there, and that's how I like it. But I was watching him, every move, because Darren Hart thought he was building something. But he didn't realize who actually owned the foundation. 2 weeks after Darren showed up, we had our first full school assembly. Students were pulled out of third period. Staff were strongly encouraged to attend, and the gym was lit up like a damn TED Talk stage. They brought in a local news crew, big screen behind the podium, spotlights on the bleachers. The band wasn't invited, apparently too off-brand for the message. I stood near the back, behind a row of juniors who were more interested in whispering about someone's shoes than whatever this was supposed to be. I crossed my arms and scanned the staff across the aisle. Some looked stiff. Some kept checking their phones. A few, the newer ones, were nodding, probably just happy to be part of something that looked like progress. Darren stepped up like a keynote speaker at a tech expo. Mayfair is entering a new era, he started. Voice smooth, projection perfect. We're shifting to a performance-driven model, one built around outcomes, not outdated traditions. Then came the list. Digital-first curriculum, core subject realignment, teacher portfolio reviews every semester, non-essential electives reevaluated for relevance and return. No one clapped. He didn't care. We're streamlining operations for efficiency. Class time will integrate learning modules, asynchronous assessments, and real-time feedback algorithms. In a building where the Wi-Fi still cuts out when it rains. I kept my face neutral, but my jaw locked. I watched the history department exchange glances. Mrs. Houghton, who ran the theater program for 15 years, had her hand over her mouth. Behind her, someone in IT looked straight down at the floor. Buzzword after buzzword. Optimization, agility, strategic pivot. He sounded like a LinkedIn post in human form. He wrapped it all with, "This isn't just change, this is evolution. We're done surviving. Now we scale." A few students clapped, confused. One kid shouted, "Yo, what?" and got elbowed by his friend. Assembly over, lights off. Students heard it out. I waited, still in the back, until most of the noise cleared. I didn't want to run into anyone. I just wanted to leave without being pulled into a debate I wasn't ready to start. That's when I heard him. Outside the gym, right past the trophy case near the hallway vending machines, Darren was talking to his assistant, some sharp 20-something who followed him around like a political aide. "She's outdated," he said. "Won't be hard to phase her out." Just like that. Like I was a software license he was ready to cancel. He didn't say my name. He didn't have to. There was only one she who hadn't nodded along, hadn't smiled, hadn't played along with his big rollout. I kept walking. No pause, no reaction. I walked past the lockers, past the burnt-out light near the east stairwell, past the art room door with the peeling sticker that still said, "Welcome to Creativity." I made it to my office without seeing a soul. Opened the door, stepped inside, closed it behind me, locked it. I was still standing behind my closed door when the ping hit my inbox. Subject line: Mayfair Unified Reorg, effective immediately. No explanation, no preface. Just a mass email and a PDF attachment. I sat down, clicked it open, and there it was. The new org chart, bright color-coded boxes, fancy new department names, flow arrows pointing to places that didn't exist last week. I scrolled, scanned, scrolled again. My name wasn't on it, not in administration, not under student engagement, not under partnership development, not even buried in the fine print. My entire department, community programs, gone. 9 years of building wiped out like someone hitting delete on a spreadsheet. There wasn't even a footnote. Just a little gap where my team used to be. No boxes, no dotted lines. Just white space, like we'd never existed. I stared at it for a long time, heart pounding, face numb. Then I got up, closed the blinds, and locked the door again. I picked up the phone and dialed Naomi Benson. No hesitation. She picked up after the second ring. "Diane? Tell me you've seen it." She didn't ask what I meant. "Yes, it hit our review server 10 minutes ago." I sat down, still gripping the phone like I might crush it. "They really think they can just erase it all?" Naomi exhaled. I could hear papers shuffling. "There's a board strategy meeting Monday morning," she said. "Darren submitted a proposal last week. He wants to eliminate community programs and move you to an unpaid consultant role. Advisory only. No staff, no budget." I didn't say anything. I couldn't. She went on. "His proposal closes with one line, pending trust holder approval." I blinked. Finally. There it was. The mistake. Naomi's voice dropped just slightly. "I doubt he knows who owns the trust." That was the first time I smiled all day. "Then let's keep it that way," she chuckled. "Glad to hear your voice still has that edge." "Oh, I've got plenty more where that came from," I said. "But we do this by the book. I need it airtight." "You'll have it. Monday's meeting will be recorded, minuted, and legal counsel will be present." "Good. I want everything above board." "You always did," she said. I hung up and stared at my dark computer screen, the org chart still open. The school bell rang in the hallway, 4th period ending. Just another day passing by. My hands were shaking, but not from fear. It was something colder, sharper. He thought he could erase me, like I was just a name on a roster. He had no idea. I closed the laptop, picked up a pen, opened a fresh legal pad, started writing names, dates, events. Every budget line Darren had touched in the last 6 months. Every move he made since he walked through the doors in that stupid Italian suit. My pen was still moving when the calendar invite popped up. Subject: Room 102. Time: now, no message. I didn't need one. Room 102 used to be a faculty planning space. Darren had cleared it out during his space optimization sweep. Coldest room in the building. No windows, no purpose. Just 4 walls and a table. I grabbed my notebook and walked. No hesitation. I wasn't going to let him come to me. He was already sitting at the table when I opened the door. Blinds drawn. Lights dimmed low like we were about to watch a security tape. He didn't smile, didn't stand. Just nodded at the chair across from him. I closed the door and sat. "Appreciate you coming," he said, like I had a choice. I wanted to speak candidly, one-on-one. "Then speak." He folded his hands in that fake coach pose. "You've done good work in the past, Diane, but lately, it's clear you've plateaued." My eyes didn't move. He went on. "The school's shifting, and I need leaders who can evolve. who don't just cling to legacy programs that don't serve measurable outcomes. I didn't answer, just waited. He leaned in slightly, voice lower now. You're holding us back. And the truth is, you're replaceable. There it was, said clean, like a fact, not an insult. That corporate confidence, all polish and no weight. I didn't flinch. I just sat perfectly still, let the silence grow a little too long, then leaned in. Then fire me. His jaw tensed. Just a twitch, but I caught it. He wasn't expecting that. He thought I'd beg, defend myself, maybe argue my worth with a PowerPoint or a sob story. Instead, I gave him a loaded gun and dared him to pull the trigger. You've made it clear you don't need me, I said, keeping my tone flat. So go ahead. Make it official. He blinked, lips parting like he wanted to say something else. Nothing came. I stood, pushed my chair back in, then walked out. Not fast, not angry, just done. I didn't need his answer. I already had mine. And he had no clue what was coming. By the time I got back to my office, the air felt different. Not just cold, tense, like something in the building had shifted. I sat down, opened my laptop, and got the first pop-up. Access denied, credentials not recognized. I refreshed, tried again, same thing. He didn't fire me, he didn't need to. He just started cutting the oxygen. Over the next few days, the pattern was clear. Calendar events disappeared. Invites to strategy meetings never came through. My staff logins failed one by one. Finance tools, scheduling dashboards, internal memos. I submitted tickets, like I was supposed to. It said they'd look into it. They never did. Emails I sent to department heads? Silence. The same people I'd worked with for years suddenly forgot how to hit reply. I didn't panic. I opened a folder on my desktop and labeled it Heart Timeline. Every error message, every you've been removed notice, every forwarded email from a confused parent asking why their outreach coordinator hadn't followed up, it all went in. Time-stamped. Sorted. When meeting rooms changed last minute, I logged that too. Screenshots. Call logs. Nothing dramatic. Nothing that screamed sabotage. Just 1,000 paper cuts, all leading to the same slow bleed. On Thursday night, I stayed late. Most of the building was dark, except for the janitors and a few teachers grating in silence. I was sipping burnt coffee when it popped up. An anonymous message through the old staff feedback portal. He did this at his last school. You stopped him. No name, no context. Just that. I didn't respond. I took a screenshot, saved it to the folder, and kept going. But that was the moment I realized. This wasn't just about me. He'd done it before, and someone knew I was the one standing in his way again. I opened a new page in the folder, labeled it Patterns, started matching his efficiency reforms to every removal, every reassignment, every department he'd touched. Family services had been gutted, career guidance pushed online, student wellness absorbed by HR, all the soft power in the school gone. He wasn't building a better school. He was building a system that didn't push back. I closed my laptop around 10 and leaned back in my chair, staring at the ceiling. He thought I was cornered, but all he'd done was tighten the net around himself. Because I wasn't just collecting complaints. I was collecting patterns, and patterns told stories. I pulled out my notebook and added one more name to the list. A teacher who vanished mid-year at Darren's old school, replaced without explanation. Then I added a question mark. I'd dig into it later. The building creaked as the air system shut down for the night. I packed up the file, saved backups in 3 places, and slid a paper copy into the bottom drawer of my locked cabinet. No alarms, no speeches, no drama, just evidence. It was just after 7 the next morning when the email landed. No subject line, no sender name, just a blank field and a single attachment. I paused before clicking, took a slow sip of coffee, then opened it. It was a screenshot. Darren's name was at the top, his personal Gmail address, and right below it, a chain of emails between him and 3 members of the district board. He was pushing hard. She's no longer aligned with the school's direction. Detached from real-time educational needs. Obstructive to lean reform. Not viable long-term. He was framing me like a broken door, a liability, something in the way. And he was timing it. laying the groundwork before Monday's board strategy meeting. I didn't get angry. I didn't throw anything or shout. I just pulled the screenshot into my folder and labeled it, Darren, Board Positioning. Then I opened my main file. All the evidence was there, from revoked login credentials to deleted meeting invites. Every canceled access badge, every timestamp. I wasn't just building a story anymore. I was outlining a case. A few minutes later, I heard a soft tap under the door. Not a knock. Just the quiet shuffle of paper sliding across the tile. I got up and opened it. No one there, just a folded note. Check Darren's calendar for Friday, ethics prep. No name, but I recognized the handwriting. Shayla, one of my old student aides. Graduated last year, smart, observant, and 2 levels deeper than people gave her credit for. She must have still had access to admin systems. Or maybe someone she trusted did. I walked back to my desk, sat down, and pulled up Darren's public calendar. Friday, 11 a.m. Policy Compliance Pre-Brief, District Legal. He wasn't just positioning me. He was already prepping for the board vote, already greasing the wheels for my removal. I closed the tab and leaned back in my chair. Let the silence fill the room. Then I whispered, let him try. He thought he was orchestrating a clean cut. Get the board on his side. Paint me as old infrastructure. A necessary casualty of progress. What he didn't see, what he never thought to question, was that every single move he made left a footprint. Emails, system changes, meeting logs. I had it all. And now I had proof he was planning the takedown before the vote was even called. I spent the next 3 hours compiling it. One clean PDF. Timeline, attachments, cross-reference statements. No filler, no emotion, just hard proof. I titled it, District Submission, Heart Violations, saved it, backed it up. Then I printed 2 copies. I didn't know who the anonymous email came from, or how Shayla had found out about the ethics prep. But I knew one thing, I wasn't the only one who saw what he was doing. People were watching, and Darren Hart had finally lit the match. Friday morning, I walked into the district's administrative building with my folder tucked under one arm and a copy of the PDF in my bag. No makeup, no smile, just focus. Naomi met me in the hallway. She didn't say a word, just opened the door to a small side conference room. Inside, the district chair, Gordon Lyles, sat at the head of the table, sleeves rolled, reading something on a tablet. He looked up, nodded. Ms. Keller, I dropped the folder onto the table. You'll want to start with page 3. Lyles slid the binder toward him. Naomi stayed silent, watching. This is every revocation of access, every deleted calendar event, every unlogged meeting where my department was stripped out. Not by accident, but in pieces. No formal removal, no oversight, just slow erasure. He flipped. Fast. His expression shifted about halfway through. Naomi broke the silence. We've seen enough to confirm the pattern. Not one big decision, dozens of quiet ones. And they all trace back to Hart. I pulled out my phone. One more thing. I called the school's IT help desk 2 weeks ago about my access being cut. I tapped play. Yes, that access was revoked under direction from Principal Hart. Short, clear, logged. Lyles sat back in his chair and sighed. Jesus. He's prepping to remove me Monday, I said. He thinks the vote's a formality. Naomi reached for the folder again. It won't be. I packed up my notes and clipped everything back into place. As I closed the folder, something slipped loose from the inside cover. A small USB drive. No label. I held it up. This yours? Naomi didn't even blink. Just smirked. Let's call it a contribution. She didn't explain. Lyles stood to leave. I stayed behind just a moment longer, watching her. You always play the long game, I asked. Only when it matters, she said. And Diane, this matters. I left without another word. Back at my office, I shut the door and plugged in the USB. One file, an audio recording. I hit play. Darren's voice. She won't last past this quarter. She's too soft to survive this kind of pressure. I didn't move, didn't breathe for a second. Then I smiled. Cold, quiet. I dragged the file into my evidence folder and renamed it. Final move. Monday morning hit like a cold slap. No small talk, no delays. I walked into the district's main conference hall just after 8. The long table was already filled. Legal reps on one end, ethics committee on the other, district observers in the middle. Naomi sat near the back, calm as ever. I took my seat without looking at anyone. Darren was already standing, suit pressed, smile on, polished to the point of smirking. "Thank you all for making time," he began, pacing slowly. "Today's discussion isn't about personal grievances. It's about strategic alignment." He clicked a remote. A slide popped up behind him. Operational Vision 2026. Bar graphs. Mission buzzwords. Meaningless crap. "Innovation means making tough decisions," he said. "And unfortunately, some legacy systems and people can't adapt fast enough. The individual in question has created unnecessary resistance, undermined progress, and failed to evolve with the needs of the district." I didn't blink. "She's been detached," he said, "unresponsive, and her department hasn't delivered outcome-based value in over a year. This isn't about personality, it's about performance." He closed the slide deck and turned slightly toward me but didn't make eye contact. "Leadership requires vision, and sometimes that means letting go of what no longer serves the mission." He sat. The chair turned to me. "Ms. Keller?" I opened my folder. No screens, no slides, just paper and facts. "I've documented every system access denial, every revoked credential, every meeting I was removed from without notice. I've also logged the removal of my department, executed with no formal vote, no oversight, no transparency." I handed out copies. "These aren't assumptions. They're time-stamped actions initiated under Darren Hart's authority. In 6 weeks, he rewrote Mayfair's structure with zero accountability." I clicked the USB into a laptop. "And here's the part that makes it personal." I hit play. Darren's voice. "She won't last past this quarter. She's too soft to survive this kind of pressure." I let it hang in the room, then turned to the committee. That wasn't a policy call. That was a target being set. Naomi stood without being asked. "District HR has reviewed Diane Keller's file. There are no performance warnings, no formal complaints, no recorded deficiencies. Revoking access without cause is a direct violation of administrative policy 4.9. She sat back down, calm, sharp. Darren's face cracked. Just a twitch at first, then the real him showed. "This is a setup," he snapped. "You're all conspiring with a relic who should have retired years ago." A board member leaned back, unimpressed. Another started scribbling something. Darren kept going. "You don't understand what I'm building. You're all too scared of change to back real innovation." The committee chair raised a hand. "That's enough." Darren kept pacing. "She played you. You think this is justice. It's sabotage. She's bitter, washed up. This school was dead weight before I got here." The chair didn't flinch. "Mr. Hart," Darren stopped. "Effective immediately, you are suspended pending termination review. Security will escort you off the premises." Silence. No applause, no cheers. Just the low hum of power shifting hands. Darren stared around the room like he expected someone to save him. No one moved. 2 staff members from facilities, not even security, stepped forward. He scoffed, grabbed his laptop, and left without another word. The door clicked shut behind him. Still, no one clapped. That silence, that was justice. Darren didn't send a farewell email. No speech, no final announcement. He just vanished, like a reboot that never finished loading. By Tuesday morning, his name was gone from the front office directory. His parking spot sat empty. No one touched it, not even the guy who usually steals open spaces on rainy days. The building felt lighter. Teachers who'd gone quiet started showing up early again. The social studies team brought back their Monday morning coffee pot. A group of seniors painted a mural in the stairwell. No one stopped them. Even the janitor who used to mumble through his shifts started whistling again. I walked through the halls and people nodded. Some smiled. A few clapped me on the back without saying a word. It didn't feel like victory. It felt like oxygen. 2 days later, I got the summons. Boardroom, 10 a.m. Naomi was already inside, flanked by 2 assistant superintendents and Lyles from ethics. They didn't waste time. Lyles slid an envelope across the table. "We want to formally appoint you Director of Community Strategy, effective immediately." I didn't reach for it yet. I'll accept on 3 conditions, I said. First, a new ethics policy, internal access logs, escalation channels, and whistleblower protection for all staff. Naomi nodded. Done. Second, reinstatement offers to every staff member displaced under Darren's streamlining. Not just positions, support, resources, and if needed, apologies. Agreed, she said. They've already started reaching out. And third, full transparency with the school community. No soft PR sweep. People deserve to know what happened, not to shame him, but so it doesn't happen again. Lyles leaned forward. That one might take some massaging. No massaging, I said. Truth, or no deal. Naomi looked him dead in the eye. All 3, no pushback. That was it. I took the envelope and stood. The room cleared, slow but respectful. Naomi lingered a second. You okay? She asked. I shrugged. Ask me after I've cleaned out 2 years of buried grant applications. She smiled, then left without another word. That night I stayed late, pulled the dusty box off the top shelf, found the old brass plaque I'd made years ago and never hung. Back when I thought respect came with time served. It didn't. I drilled it into the wall myself, right above the desk, centered, level, permanent. Respect is not optional. Then I sat down and listened to the quiet. No tension, no paranoia, no strategy meetings scheduled to leave me out. Just quiet. And for once, it didn't feel like erasure. It felt earned. I angled the webcam toward the desk, adjusted the frame until the plaque behind me was fully visible, and hit record. No filters, no script. Just me in the chair I almost lost. For weeks, I said, looking straight into the lens. I let him think he was winning. While he built illusions, I built evidence. The words landed before I even thought them through. Honest. Clean. He talked loud, moved fast, cut deep, and I didn't stop him. Not right away. Because I needed him to show his hand. I needed a pattern, not an outburst. I leaned back, kept my voice even. See? Power's not loud. It's not some show of force or title on your door. It's knowing exactly who you are when someone tries to erase you. It's staying clear, staying calm, and documenting everything. I reached for the folder off camera, then let it drop with a quiet thud onto the desk. I watched him tear through programs, people, decades of work, like they were obstacles instead of history. I didn't yell. I didn't rally a crowd. I watched. I tracked. I waited. A pause. Just enough to let the silence breathe. Sometimes the only way to win is by refusing to flinch, especially when they're betting on you losing your cool. I leaned forward, elbows on the desk. This part's for every woman who's ever been told she's too quiet, too slow, too soft to lead. When someone tries to push you out, don't just fight back with noise. Fight with facts. Fight with precision. Another pause. Silence isn't weakness, it's strategy. And sometimes it's the only thing that lets you win without becoming like them. I let that sit, then closed with what mattered most. If you've ever had to choose between quitting and fighting and chose to fight, tell me how it changed you. I want to hear it. I want others to hear it. I reached out, stopped the recording. The screen faded. Quiet doesn't mean defeated. Sometimes it's the sound right before a reckoning.